Welcome back to my lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. And to those who have not tuned in to any of our episodes ever before, you might want to tune into some of them. But if you don't, we're all self agents. Those of us who are 5D mystics, spiritual, mindfulness, living, loving, mentors, content creators, podcast hosts, and just people. And so, with that, we're the lovers of ourselves, and that's because we have a functional child adult living within us. So, I'm my empowered feminine, empowered masculine, star baby. I'm my own mother, my own father. I have no attachment wounds, okay? And that's why we talked in small suffering minds, think of universe and humanity as mistakes. 5D Mystic Self-Help Mindful Stories about the comedians who are not going anywhere. I did know 3D, 4D would continue to flock the streets of the lovely earth, but I didn't know that they would all be fallen human beings who, simply put, could use Patrick Chan, Terry Real, and any other of the good therapists to get out of their rigidity and chaos for different reasons. So when I see shadow on a screen, I know it. I'm also an online marketer and content creator again, and entrepreneur, and I know what success is. It's not, I'm a healer, how dare you trauma dump, but then again, trending topics. So Peter Pan's, I spot them. They follow Wendy's, and that's why I'm going to make fun of them. And Buddha makes fun of me because I make fun of suffering. Because again, only small suffering minds actually will say something like the universe is a mistake. They also seem to want to play God. And I did get raised with Christian Catholicism. Nobody plays God. And I am a mystic. As I mentioned in the other episode, I'll use the word prophet, guru, yogi, all of it. They all mean the same thing. Because any of the ones who are enlightened ones will know they all mean the same thing, because we're not imprisoned by words and we're not imprisoned by ignorant minds. And so somebody saying, how dare, sacrilege. I think of, yes, Sebastian from The Little Mermaid, sacre bleu. I mean, really, again, an empowered person doesn't give two shits about the words you use. That's why power, where? I don't see it. I do see a bunch of different people, okay? So securely attached and untraumatized human beings have this thing called Sim Harris, thank you, grounded in reality. And in my cherishable beliefs could be falsifiable. I am a self-agent and I bring out the lover of me. The siren of me would be when I get sloppy with my exercises, when I get sloppy with my diet. That's pretty much it. Because yes, physically speaking, I'm a very, very fulfilled human being who has my ventral vagal state since I was a kid. I don't have charges building because if I want big girls, they do a cry, yes I do. And my 3-year-old, she still comes up with my mother, so I get to get all that little angry shit out, and I still am mastering that. So trauma time is really just in that moment and with my twin, the only two people who I'm actively still reactive with. And it's reactive. I don't justify it, but that's how it works when you're accountable. You regulate your nervous system. You don't say, let me allow my bad habits. So unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms, the avoidant that I've been making fun of. Yes, because it's, you're making fun of avoidance. So I'm going to open a channel and talk about our life. But you know what? I'm just going to let you know that I stopped therapy because I didn't want to do it anymore. And I don't want to do mindfulness. It seems like a waste of my time because plus all people suffer. So this is the part of where, thanks, Rocky. It ain't about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Or it's not how hard you can hit, excuse me. It's how hard you can. Nobody's going to hit anybody because if you're using your hands, then I know you have no capacity to use your mouth. Bad manners. If you're a boxer, I feel bad because your brain's going to actually get, So this is the part of where people who are looking forward to living together don't want to be sick as they live together and grow old and decrepit in a way that is unhealthy. I'm just going to let you all know because that's common sense. And so when I talk to anyone out there that is a Pinocchio and a Peter Pan, and they're just talking to me about Wendy and how neuroscience is bullshit and how evil wins, I just think, well, there's another, another one bites the dust. And that's about it because they don't affect my nervous system. I know how to regulate Maria and differentiate. And again, I'm my own siren when I want to be. I don't actually ever want to be, which is why I allow my primary caregiver to chime in on my health, and then I allow myself to give myself a little bit of crap when I'm sloppy, but I also allow myself to do the wiggle room dance. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Because I'm really not that bad compared to functional drug addicts, functional alcoholics, functional drama, hooked on their own drama and stressed nervous system, functional, modulated, dysregulated people. And that actually go around telling you it's dangerous to have no emotions and that it is not true that it is inherently enlightening or healthy to be non-reactive. It is true because you live eustress, not distress. And I have proof of it in my body, though I can't prove it physically to you. The only ones who will be back here are the ones who want to do self-help for personal development and spiritual development, because you have a self that you are helping and that you know works really great because that's how much you care about your mental health. And so you've cared about your physical and emotional health. And so once you have a window of welcome to affect, that's when you're ready to do self-help personal development. And the ones who say it's pseudoscience, bullshit, and crap, well, it's pseudoscience, don't have to be bullshit, crap. No, again, it's only crap for the ones who don't know how to do the emotional lifting and the bravery of going to Patrick Chan to learn to love themselves first, and to go to Terry Real to become real men, real women, and real days who don't need to fall and hit rock bottom. And so we're going to have some stories. The significance of being born human is that you have the potential to become limitless. It is up to you to live your godliness. Now, this is the part, thank you, Sadhguru. Those who get offended by any one of us who wants to use the word God and divinity, they have what Italians would say they smell. So you got a chip on your shoulder. Also, limited consciousness people mean nothing to me because I am actively an academic and I have faith and I talk to God all the time. And I told him already by the time I was 19. Those people, they hurt children and they're continuing it. And then they're actually not forgiving. They're not welcoming everyone. They're continuing to use Lucifer's story to say promiscuity is Lucifer's fault, and none of them take decentralizing of the self and neuroscience seriously, God. And we have people already who don't take their children to hospitals because they've decided that somehow they're supposed to stay ignorant and in nature. I don't ever recall you saying we needed to stop time and live prehistory forever. So anyone who is of God, who is of divinity, who is of source, who is of spirit, isn't going to be doing what yes, 3D, 4D do. And we are going to keep making fun of them again because buffoons are what limited consciousness people are to a brain that knows I'm grounded in reality. Thank you, Sam Harris. My cherishable belief with God is mine. And anybody who wants to own God, you can't. And you can go and, continue doing what you're doing. Luckily for me, I live in countries where academia and education were something that were supported. And what's happening now? Well, let's just put it away. Because seriously, it's actually something I know all about, by the way. I'm going to not talk about it. No one is nonsensical to themselves. Thank you, Terry Real. Yes, everybody will make sense to their self. And I'm here making sense of how you are born a human. I'm born a human. And when you have your inner child alive, you're going to be a lover of yourself, because otherwise you're going to be a stupid idiot. Like that avoidant who basically, instead of understanding what mindfulness is, and my question is if they got the explanation. But then again, as Neil deGrasse points out, he blames the education system. I say, no, it's not. It's that you either have lovers or you have fearful ones. And my lovely brothers and sisters of fear will know where, shape, or form take themselves to a therapist. 4D mystics are all over this, like the Zen master. He's got laundry. He didn't even once contemplate, wow, I wake up in the morning, drained of energy. Seems that it's really hard for me to cry, and I call it laundry. Oh, but wait, I have a nice story for myself. Buddhism, the one truth, the number one truth, or out of the four truths, is that this life, this very existence is suffering. Not for the ones of us who use our prefrontal cortex, but it is for those who don't know how to. And so mindfulness, the practices support the people who have sensations, images, behaviors, affects, and meanings in the forefront. And that's why you'll be back. And so you don't have to be here. Nobody does. But what I told you in our other episode, I'm Kali with Shiva and Krishna Lila. And no, I don't need to dress myself up godliness, because I wouldn't, because that's actually ego right there. But I can tell you that I embody those frequencies and that I have a story for you. So my facade friend, remember I've told you all about him. So I'm connected, open, aware, and loving of Maria. Then I'm curious, open, accepting, and loving of you and myself. I am present, attuning, resonating, trusting. Thank you. These are all Dr. Daniel Siegel's acronyms for an integrated brain. I am flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Yes, in fact, my integrated brain works really well with all my child parts. And when they come up, I know it. And that's my physical master. And I'm having a great time explaining to you why yesterday's new moon brought me eustress. And I laughed at myself. And at the same time, I did not excel in my physical mastery. I am still the same perfectionist that I was when I was a child, but I'm a grown perfectionist, which is why I'm imperfect and flawed like all of you. But my simple perfectionist angle will have me see everything, which will piss the fuck off of those kids who don't like learning and who don't take seriously any of the academics. And I, to this day, will notice you're whole. You're missing something. And that's because, again, I saw the sign and I opened up there's only one God, and there's only one Jesus, and there's only one Holy Spirit, and you only will tap into any of this when you have your own whole self, your heart. You're the one of yourself, and you can therefore know you got an ego, you got a self, and you're a filter. So any of my charges, they're manageable. No, they're fine. It's that Maria doesn't like to taint information with her 14-month-old, because a 14-month-old is having a pissy fit for no other reason except for I don't like to play with the teddy bear that doesn't like the same cereal that I like. There's studies that show this, and I'll know it, and then I'll be reminded that all my brothers and sisters have a place in the kingdom of God, but they won't have the kingdom of God in their body. No, they won't have love in their heart. No, like the avoidant, they're going to have a longing, and they're going to make up some bullshit sentence of this life, this very existence is suffering. No, it's not. And again, I know what, thank you Buddhism, thank you Buddha. I'm not making fun of you in a bad way. I'm trying to talk sense to people. Buddhism, yoga, meditation, mindfulness, all of it has been shown and continues to reveal that it's not demons that come out of you, is that you have a ventral vagal state, and the ventral vagal portfolio of exercises, yoga, mindfulness, and meditation support integration of the brain. But if you are non-bilaterally integrated and there's a situation at hand, that's why somebody's going to spread the rumors that yoga brings demons out of them, because they don't trust Peter Levine, who lets you know muscles, bones, and tissues store trauma. And they don't trust decentralizing with the self, and Patrick McNamara, who proves and is continuing to prove how it works. So flipping a switch for the idiots is very easy, because they like to dress themselves up as creator. How dare you actually have a tagline saying the universe is a mistake, and a human being who's in flesh telling you through their own vessel everything. So I have imagination like you do. That's why I totally have memory, implicit and explicit. Maria's always here. No matter how much I can zero out, quote unquote, meaning become aware, I'm still here. Trauma doesn't get erased because you will have began in the womb to have implicit memory. It has no words. It's an energetic imprint. So you take ownership of all that is yours, and you don't play God or anything remotely of let me speak to you. But who wants the story? Who's sitting down with Wendy? Peter Pan, Lost Boys, where are you? Who wants to know what is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you? Who's afraid of the unknown? Into the unknown. Even Elsa makes up some bullshit story. Siren, stop calling me. There you go, drama kings and queens. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm waiting for the unknown. I got to say in one of my hypnotherapy sessions, I was like, okay, I see those 3 paths. I want 2 new ones. I know which ones those are. I know which one's my golden path. I want 2 new ones that I don't know anything about, because I don't know if I want what you offer me, God. No, I didn't do it that way. Oh, I love God. And so let me give you, hold on. There's another one of Sadhguru's quotes. A truly intelligent mind is neither influenced by memory nor deluded by imagination. Thank you, Sadhguru. And then he shares, human beings suffer their own memory and imagination. That is, they suffer that which does not exist. That's not true. It does exist, Sadhguru. I know you don't take psych education seriously. It exists from the womb to your first 3 years of life. So you exist, and your whole exists, and you can heal it. And the smart therapist, that's why the minute one human being tells you I'm going to dismantle modern day therapy, you're one fucking human being. But all of them flock to the cauldron because they don't want to go to therapy, like the cowards that make fun of Patrick Tan and go and complain on his content. And he teaches boys and girls how to be strong, because that little child didn't need to be weak. They were fear-mongered, and that's not nice. So we also don't give excuses, though. It's not because you get triggered. You can tell me, excuse me, can you stop thinking? No, I can't, but I will right now, and then I won't talk to you ever again, because that's called projection. It's also called lazy ass. It's also called maybe you got a bad therapist, because there's a bunch of bad ones. They're unhealed, and they're just as bad as the mystics. And so when you do know about caring, which is why you see me getting all passionate, because I do care about my brothers and sisters, and it's tiresome to see, no, it's frustrating to see the idiots think they know shit when they don't, but I can't correct them. It's none of my business. because they lack also, by the way, self-awareness, accountability, regulation. Their ears are already flopped down, and I don't want to waste my time. It's not a losing strategy to reveal. They're just boring to talk to because, they know everything. The unbridled self-expression, the black and white thinker, the idiot Cusco attitude, the same asshole teenagers that I met when I was a teenager, who I don't give any shits. I just say, oh, nothing. When I'm telling you the story, I share with you my frustration. When I'm out in the street, I really don't care because I'm having a good time. Because again, Maria's out because she consciously chose to use the 24 hours to do something social. And I'm imperfect and flawed like everybody else. But I don't have an issue with ruptures or splinters. In fact, repair is quite easy for me because either we love each other as we are or we don't. And I do. You don't. But I don't want to hang out with everyone. But I do still love you because that's a teaching that I got and that I hold on to, and you don't have to hold on to it. And here's why: love, it's a verb. And polyamory, we love. You just don't know why. And if somebody questions it, questioning with curiosity, I'm happy because now I have a curious brother and sister. Questioning with with everything that is of an adaptive child part who is already talking over me because they know what's right or wrong, the truth or not the truth. And that's tradition. Oh, that's a hut, a slut, a whore. I just heard somebody talk about a study about, and I'm wondering the sample of the study, by the way. So even when I talk about studies, do you know there's many studies, and you want to know what year it was, what the sample is? A smart brain would know all this and not draw any conclusion. At the same time, you will know that there's a lot of masses out there who don't do any of this because in school they didn't want to learn. I asked about homework on a Friday and I got booed. I thought nothing of idiots because I don't learn from idiots and I don't actually copy them. Wendy, who are you selling your story to today? So people who want a story, again, they don't know how to harness their own secondary human consciousness and their 0-1-year-old. And that's why I said in the other episode, Expert Yogi, right here. Sadhguru talks about it in this mystical way. I'm talking it to you, humanly speaking. Grounded in reality. Any of my cherishable beliefs could be falsifiable. Science talks a really great talk, and they know why the universe exists. If you don't believe in science, I mean, hey, a person wanting to define to you that the universe was a mistake and give you their story, it's a Wendy. And the Peter Pans and Lost Boys will like that story. In fact, millions follow these people all over the place. The more security you seek, the more disturbed you will be about every change that happens in your life. People who are not functional child adults, they don't own their intelligence. That's why they're not truly intelligent. They don't own their memory and they don't own their imagination. When I have downloads and I channel and I am a channeler, you know this, I don't say it's not true, but I also don't make it into a fact. So when I have people who are playing prophets, this is the part. The word means something, yes. But what I've seen is that we have a bunch of 4D collective members, and this is not good or bad. It is actually, I understand it completely because I know the word cognitive dissonance and I also know structural dissociation. And like I said, I know a siren when I see one because I'll know their mask because they will know everything. And then they will say neuroscience, ha 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 ha. But then they will keep telling me evil exists. And then they'll keep on doing the unhealthy self-soothing shit. And then they'll be telling me that life is suffering. And then they'll be telling me that I'm pretending. And then they'll be telling me about how they heal each other. And so a bullshitter is a bullshitter a mile away for the ones of us who do know the difference between, again, a comedian. A comedian makes up a story and claims to know it all because they don't have the capacity to sit in awareness, maximum uncertainty. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. As a mindfulness practitioner, and I was one even before becoming one, and I'm still finishing all of that lovely course material. I got a bunch of it up, but my point is, for those who do personal development, spiritual development, and who are self-agents, I know who they are and who's going to come back over here because they're self-agents. Because when there are frequent ruptures and no repairs, there's attachment wounding and attachment failure, especially for babies and small children who don't have the capacity to soothe themselves. People who want soothing in unhealthy ways seek out Wendy's, and they don't like to hear grounded in reality chit-chat. Becoming an orphan is healthier than staying a hostage. Thank you, lovely Patrick Chan, again, as he shared, I think it was today. He says, I know that's dark, but I find that many of us are faced with limited choices when it comes to abusive family or relationship. If we stay in the family system that takes us and the truth of the abuse hostage, it takes away our right to self and away any power we are working towards for our emotional future. We stay stuck, and worse, we might try to get them to get it. while they do the same. Ongoing codependent power struggle, he says. He says the worst of it is having to be seen as they see us, the role they put us in. Does the family even know you, or just the version of you that serves them somehow? Enough of living in that role in quiet desperation while still being emotionally abused. He says if we choose to become an orphan, we are faced with a process of grief and wrestling with not having the container of family and struggle with how the outside world responds to us. So you can find him if you want, but the point he's trying to make is that when you are recognizing that which has taken place, you free yourself from it. There are people who are healed from their childhood trauma and are able to forgive their households. And then there are people who go to Patrick Tan and are still working to feel this way. Okay? And that's why I respect him, and I'm in the self-help, personal development, spiritual development again. So it's when people are ready to do what comes next, mindfulness. That's why you can sit in awareness, because you have self-regulation, accountability, and you have self-agency with the prefrontal. So you don't project, okay? And you don't have some sob-ass story for yourself. And so your imagination and your memory are yours. As a mystic, again, this doesn't disprove my story, my relationship to God, my relationship to Akash, Source, and everything that I experience as an Akashic record reader, as a Reiki master, as somebody who integrates spiritual self-help, mindfulness, living, loving. And when we have our workshops and retreats, it'll be fun. The masterclass, once we have our signups, that's focused solely on mindfulness, and mentorship depends what person you are. If you're simply self-help, personal development, we don't need to integrate any of the spiritual stuff because that's unnecessary. But if you're a person who does enjoy guidance with tarot, and you enjoy Reiki, and you enjoy, so that means you find benefit. I'm going to make sure that you're a securely attached, non-traumatized person, and I will make sure of it in my own way. And the therapist said, don't worry, Maria, no matter what, if you need us, you'll know. And that's when you care about what you do. You don't just create, I'm a healer, I'm going to heal people, without actually taking a good look at yourself and noticing, where am I at if I say that I can offer you something? And when I finished the Inner Growth Mindset program, I'll never forget, I met a person who said, you just need to know a little step ahead. And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound like good quality work to me. I don't like offering half-assed quality. So I allowed myself to listen, because, the orphans, they always want the floor, and there you go, modulated embodiment. That's why they follow idiots. Because at the end of the day, no, it's not a little. I need to be a good expert at it first so that I can offer you what is quality, because I actually take honor in what I offer you. It's a part of who I am. You don't just create something. And this is the part. There are people who sell their businesses. I have never understood that, but I understand it because their primary goal was not to actually keep the business. Okay, so that's where everyone comes at different angles. But if what you do is something that you embody and you care about, and here's where lovely Sadhguru, where are you with that lovely quote? When you care about what you do and you're not suffering it like life, then if you get 2 chances, that's even better. And that is how the story goes. But I need to find the quote first because I got so many of them. Okay, here we go. If you truly create what you care for and you get 2 opportunities, it's even better. If you're not enjoying the process, then you don't want another opportunity to create what you care for. If suffering the process and it doesn't happen, you freak out. But if you enjoy the process, you enjoy what you're creating, then 2 opportunities is even better. That's with life. You don't talk about your past and excuse behaviors that you know are not healthy for you, good for you, all that. No, you allow yourself to remember it's a journey. That's for people in general, because mindfulness supports, again, the ones who are ready to sit with focusing attention in the maximum certainty. I can contain sensations, images, behaviors, affects, and meanings. I can contain means you also know all your child parts and they're all asleep. And you take seriously that you have an integrated brain. EMDR, child parts work somatics. They'll say, I want this person to on self-help, Maria. I want like now. And that's a person who won't be back here. Just making it clear. And then the copycats, they're the other ones who talk about themselves as healers. Whether it's a spiritual bypasser or it's a savior complex therapist who's not healed, and a lot more, coaches, consult, you name it. Put it all in the box. The people who want Wendy will go to Wendy's. Like this fancy woman and man in suit I make fun of. They are followed by millions and they are venerated. And you can go tell them about pseudo-intellectuals. Watch Cusco turn around and say, Pacha, how dare you? You are jealous, Pacha. You're just jealous of their success. Or you just want to keep me stuck because that is to a T, adaptive child part. Let me flip a switch and basically point a finger. And then Cusco, what does it do? He figures it out. But that's because Cusco eventually wants to live with Pacha. And yet at the end of the movie, he still lies. I find it a bullshit ending, because any bullshit ending will always involve, let me allow myself to let you be a coward again, but at the same time, I can't make you into a person who will tell the truth, because you need to want to be seen, which is where those childhood trauma survivors, they don't look to be seen. That's why they go to Patrick Chan. So that one point they can stand up for themselves and not feel ashamed, because being yourself is amazing. And that's the part of what self-help personal development. It supports people who want to do mindfulness and choose to be their lover. We all have sirens, again, because we all can have these patterns that we can get into. But the point is, you love yourself first. You love yourself with integrity, acceptance, and you love others too. And so we accept we all have flaws and imperfections, but we choose to bring out the best in each other. And the best in each other is a lover who says, yeah, I have a siren and I'm not going to use it. I'm going to do my best. Again, the siren is that modulated, dysregulated embodiment. I'm going to become emotionally mature, master my emotional plane. I can do this, because if you can't, these smart experts are out there helping anybody. You can learn how to be flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable, to be the self-agent that you were meant to be in the first place. I never lost Maria, so I'm self-led. That's why I love doing what I do. And again, we will be back with more. In the meantime, I'm choosing to do themes. So you'll see repeat sentences, and I'll change it up a little bit here and there at the end. And that's for the community that we're building. Thank you for stopping by.